Have you ever noticed how the smallest things can get under your skin? A glance, a thoughtless remark, or an unintentional action, each one like a tiny needle piercing your mind, leaving you irritated, frustrated, or even dwelling on it for an entire day. But here's a truth that many overlook. The issue isn't what happens to you, it's how you react. If a stranger were to insult you, you might simmer in anger for hours. But if the exact same words came from a 3-year-old, you'd probably just laugh. The difference isn't in the words themselves, it's in how you perceive them. So how do you get to a place where nothing disturbs your peace? The key lies in a philosophy that has endured through the ages, Stoicism. It doesn't tell you to suppress your emotions or become indifferent. Instead, it teaches you how to master your mind, ensuring that nothing affects you unless you allow it to. In this video, you'll discover 10 powerful ways to make calmness your greatest weapon, so that no one can shake you, and no situation can bring you down. Get ready, because after today the world may stay the same, but you won't. Dichotomy of Control. Have you ever felt like the entire world is working against you? You're waiting in line for coffee, but the person ahead of you is taking forever to find their money. You're driving, only to get stuck behind someone crawling in the fast lane. You spent an entire week working on a report, only for your boss to barely skim it before giving you a cold, "Needs revision." Frustrating? Of course. But ask yourself, are these things truly bothering you, or are you allowing them to? At the core of Stoicism lies the dichotomy of control, the idea that the world is made up of two types of things, those within our control and those beyond it. Try a quick exercise. Close your eyes and think about everything that frustrated you in the past week. Now ask yourself, how many of those things were actually within your control? You can't force other drivers to be more mindful, but you can control how you respond. You can't make the person in front of you move faster, but you can use that moment to breathe instead of getting irritated. You can't dictate your boss's mood, but you can choose how you receive their feedback. There's a well-known story about a Stoic philosopher. One day a man came to him complaining that his neighbor was speaking badly about him. The Stoic simply smiled and asked, "Were you forced to listen?" And that's the lesson. We choose what we let in. If you find yourself constantly pulled into frustration and anger, the problem isn't the world, it's you. Imagine your mind as a switch. Everything around you, bad news, irritating people, unlucky moments, can only affect you if you turn the switch on. But you have the power to leave it off. Here's a truth few people want to accept. Most of our suffering doesn't come from the world itself. It comes from how we interpret it. Dropping your phone? That's just an event. But if you immediately think, "This is the worst day ever, I'm so clumsy," you've made it worse. Instead, you could think, "I dropped my phone, let's see, the screen's still fine. I'll be more careful next time." If you want to practice the dichotomy of control, start small. When something annoys you, ask yourself, "Do I control this?" If the answer is no, let it go. That doesn't mean you have to accept everything passively. It just means it's not worth your energy. A neighbor plays loud music. You can talk to them. If they don't change, get noise-canceling headphones instead of stewing in frustration. Stuck in traffic? Inevitable. But you can put on your favorite podcast instead of cursing in your car. Someone criticizes you? You can't control their thoughts, but you can control how you handle their words. Want to be untouchable by life's little annoyances? Stop letting trivial things take up space in your mind. Try this for just one day. Just one day. and see how your life starts to shift. Number 2. Amor Fati. There are moments in life you never asked for: losing a job, betrayal, illness, crushing failure. You can resist, rage against the unfairness of it all, or you can accept it as part of a larger design that you can't yet see. This is Amor Fati, loving your fate, not with passive resignation but with an active embrace. Imagine planning a picnic, only for a sudden storm to ruin it. Most people would curse the sky, complain about their bad luck, but a Stoic sees something different. A chance to feel the rain, to listen to its rhythm, to create a new plan they hadn't considered before. Nothing is bad unless you decide it is. Marcus Aurelius once said, "A blazing fire makes flame and brightness out of everything that is thrown into it." A strong fire doesn't discriminate between fuel, whether it's dry wood or debris. Everything feeds its flames. You too can be that fire, transforming obstacles into energy. But this doesn't mean suppressing your emotions. When losing a loved one, grief is natural. Yet Amor Fati teaches that instead of resisting reality with bitterness, you can cherish the time you had and be grateful for the moments you shared. Think of Job in the Bible. He lost everything, yet still said, "The Lord gave and the Lord hath taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord." Strength isn't about controlling fate, it's about controlling your response to it. Some might ask, how can I love a tragedy? But that question is flawed from the start. It's the way you define tragedy that makes it one. People suffer most when they resist the current of life, wishing it were different, instead of learning to move with it. Picture yourself as a boxer. When your opponent throws a punch, you can take it stiffly and feel its full force. Or you can absorb the momentum, pivot, and turn it into an opportunity to strike back. Amor Fati doesn't mean accepting defeat. It means making every challenge work in your favor. So how do you apply this in daily life? The next time something bad happens, don't ask, "Why me?" Instead ask, "What is this teaching me?" If someone betrays you, you learn to choose your friends more wisely. If you lose your job, you get a chance to redefine your path. If you fail, you gain valuable experience. When hardship comes, tell yourself, "Good. Let's see how I can use this." Accepting fate doesn't mean giving up control. It means reaching a higher level of freedom. Freedom from unrealistic expectations. Freedom from unnecessary complaints. And this leads us to the next lesson: self-control. If Amor Fati teaches us to embrace reality, self-control teaches us how to act within it. Accepting fate with grace is one thing, but having the discipline to respond well to it is another. Are you ready for the next step? Number 3. Self-control. Have you ever found yourself irrationally angry over something trivial? Maybe it was a seen message with no reply, an irritated glance from a colleague, or a stranger bumping into you without so much as an apology, and yet that tiny moment manages to ruin your entire day, as if someone could control your emotions with just a snap of their fingers. But ask yourself, why does someone so insignificant have that much power over your mind? If something so small can throw you off balance, are you really in control of yourself? That's the real issue. You think you're steering your own life, but in reality you're being pulled by everything around you. Self-control doesn't mean becoming an emotionless machine. It simply means not letting the outside world dictate how you feel. Picture this. You're driving, and suddenly an impatient driver honks aggressively and swerves past you. If you react instinctively, you get angry, maybe even speed up just to teach them a lesson. But then what? You're only punishing yourself. Your heart rate spikes, adrenaline floods your brain, and your entire day is ruined over a stranger you'll likely never see again. That person has already forgotten about you, yet you carry that frustration for hours. Does that make sense? So, how do you develop self-control? First, create distance between emotion and reaction. When something irritates you, don't react immediately. Imagine your mind as a phone. Every time someone provokes you, they're making a call. But do you have to pick it up? No. Let it ring. Let the noise pass and ask yourself, is this really worth my energy? Most of the time, the answer will be no. Second, turn adversity into training. Just as muscles grow stronger through resistance, self-discipline strengthens through challenges. The next time someone frustrates you, don't see it as an insult. See it as an opportunity to train yourself. An unreasonable client? A chance to practice composure. A stubborn coworker? A test of patience. From now on, when you're faced with a stressful situation, ask yourself, if I stay calm, how strong will I become? Because the way you respond doesn't just shape that moment, it shapes who you are. Here's the paradox. Those with the highest self-control are actually the freest. Many believe freedom means doing whatever they want. But if you can't master your emotions, you're just a puppet, controlled by everything around you. So the real question is, will you keep letting others decide how you feel, or will you take the wheel? Try it now. Just one moment of restraint. One choice to stay calm, even when anger feels justified. And if you've ever succeeded in mastering yourself, share your story. Who knows? Your experience might help someone else find a freedom they never thought possible. And if you're ready to keep growing into a stronger version of yourself, stick around. We have a lot more to explore. Number 4, Memento Mori. There is one certainty in life. No matter who you are, whether rich or poor, strong or weak, you will die. No one escapes it. But rather than fearing this truth, why not turn it into power? This is the essence of Memento Mori. Remember that you will die. At first, this phrase might seem grim, but in reality, it's the ultimate weapon against the distractions and anxieties of life. Think about the moments you've been angry over an insult or frustrated by criticism. But if, in that very instant, you reminded yourself that both you and that person will eventually be gone, would that anger still be worth holding on to? When you see life for what it truly is, fleeting, insults lose their weight, and social pressures become meaningless. But this doesn't lead to apathy. It does the opposite. It helps you live with clarity, focusing only on what actually matters. The ancient Romans had a unique tradition. When a victorious general returned to the city, greeted by roaring crowds, a slave would stand beside him and whisper in his ear, "Respice poste, memento mori." Look behind you. Remember that you are only a man. Remember that you will die. A simple reminder, yet powerful enough to keep him grounded, preventing him from drowning in the illusion of glory. The same applies to us. Whether we succeed or fail, we all return to dust. So why fear the judgment of others? Why waste time worrying about things that will soon be forgotten? But how do you truly live by memento mori, rather than just understanding it? First, train yourself to see every event in life through the lens of death. When someone angers you, ask yourself, if I were to die tomorrow, would this still matter? When you hesitate before making a decision, think, if today were my last, what would I do? This mindset strips away the unnecessary, refocusing your attention on what is truly valuable. Another way to practice is by actively confronting death. Visit a cemetery, read the inscriptions on tombstones. Recognize that fame, status, and petty conflicts all end up buried. Imagine your final moments. How do you want to feel? Regretful for wasting time on trivial matters? Or at peace, knowing you stayed true to what actually mattered? If death is inevitable, then the only thing that truly matters is how we live before it arrives. Ultimately, Stoicism is not just theoretical. It's not meant to be read and forgotten, but applied immediately. Ask yourself, if today were my last, would I still care about the little things? Would I let fear hold me back? Or would I act with absolute freedom? Live in a way that when death comes you can smile, knowing that nothing could ever truly shake your soul. Right now, you've made it halfway through this video. And in a world full of distractions, simply sitting down and absorbing knowledge is already a victory. But don't stop here. What you're about to discover next will complete the picture, showing you not just how to understand mental invincibility, but how to apply it to your life. If you found value in what we've explored so far, leave a sign, something as simple as a like, to help spread this philosophy to more people. And now let's continue, because the most important part is still ahead. Number 5. Master emotions. Epictetus once said, if someone succeeds in provoking you, realize that your mind is complicit in the provocation. We don't get angry because of what others say. We get angry because of how we interpret it. If someone calls you a failure, it only stings if you yourself doubt your worth. Think about it. If a random person on the street called you Mr. President, would you feel proud? No, because you know it's not true. So why feel hurt when someone calls you stupid? The Stoics weren't emotionless statues. They simply understood a crucial principle. Your emotions belong to you. No one can force you to feel anything unless you allow it. But how do you actually reach a state of unshakable composure? One simple yet effective method is to create space between an event and your reaction. When someone insults you, don't respond immediately. Pause. Take a breath. Ask yourself, does this really matter? Does this person truly know me? If the answer is no, then why let them dictate your emotions? Another powerful strategy is to reframe your thinking. When someone speaks negatively about you, instead of thinking, they're attacking me, shift your mindset to, they're revealing themselves. A person who speaks with venom is rarely happy. They may be angry at life, wounded, or filled with resentment. When a wounded dog bites, it's not about you, it's about its pain. The same goes for people. When a suffering person lashes out, it's a reflection of their inner turmoil, not of your worth. But here's an important distinction. Controlling your emotions does not mean suppressing them. If someone insults you and you feel irritated, that doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're human. But instead of letting anger control you, use it. Let it be a signal, a chance to understand yourself better. Ask yourself, why did that comment affect me? What fear did it touch in me? The more you understand your emotions, the more you master them. Emotional restraint isn't about becoming numb. It's about choosing what's worth investing your emotions in. If a close friend criticizes you, maybe you should listen. But if a stranger, a coworker, or some anonymous commenter on the internet insults you, is it worth losing sleep over? Would you let a random passerby dictate your mood? Even Jesus, in his final moments on the cross, didn't curse his executioners. Instead, he said, "Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing." That is the ultimate form of composure. If he could hold on to that mindset in the most excruciating moment, are the trivial offenses of daily life really worth your anger? You can't control what others say, but you can control how you respond. And once you truly grasp that, you become untouchable. No one can stir you up. No one can drag you into negativity. You become the master of yourself, a fortress standing firm in the storm of life. But there's something even more important. Your time is limited. Do you really want to waste it on fleeting anger and meaningless insults? Or will you use it to live a life that actually matters? That's why the next lesson is one to remember. Memento Mori. Remember that you will die. And when that moment comes, you won't care about petty words. You'll only regret not having lived more freely. Number 6, believe in yourself. There's a simple truth that few dare to admit. You're not hurt because others are too strong. You're hurt because you haven't built your own strength yet. A harsh comment, a dismissive glance, a failure. These things can only shake you if you allow them to. That's why self-belief is the strongest shield against external forces. But believing in yourself isn't about blind arrogance. It's not about assuming you're always right. It's about knowing your worth so deeply that no one can make you doubt yourself. Imagine you're an athlete preparing for a big competition. Outsiders may doubt you. They might mock you, question your abilities, even tell you that you won't succeed. But if you know how much you've trained, how well you've prepared, do their words still matter? When you truly believe in yourself, you don't need to prove anything to anyone. Real confidence isn't about shouting, "I'm great." It's about staying calm in the face of doubt, because you understand yourself deeply enough not to waver. Marcus Aurelius once said, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own." It's ironic. People fear being judged, yet they let others' opinions dictate their lives. A passing remark can keep someone awake at night, questioning themselves, when in reality, they are the only ones who truly know what they've done. If you genuinely believe in yourself, you'll break free from the endless cycle of seeking external validation. You'll keep moving forward, even when the world turns its back, because you know you're on the right path. But how do you build true self-belief? First, stop comparing yourself to others. An oak tree doesn't look at a willow and question its worth. You have your own journey, your own abilities, your own purpose. The more you focus on your growth instead of others, the more your confidence will naturally grow. Second, keep the promises you make to yourself. Every time you say you'll do something and don't, you erode your own trust. But every small commitment you follow through on strengthens the foundation of your confidence. Third, embrace failure as part of the process. No fighter remains undefeated forever. But the strongest fighter, the one who gets back up the fastest. If you refuse to let failure define you, you will never truly be defeated. The Bible says, "Blessed is the one who perseveres under trial, because having stood the test, that person will receive the crown of life." The real reward belongs to those who remain steadfast through hardship. Number 7, Focus on core values. There's a simple question that can shake the foundation of your being. If tomorrow everything you own, your wealth, reputation, and status, disappeared, what would be left? Most people would feel lost, realizing they've tied their self-worth to things that can be taken away. But a Stoic wouldn't flinch. Their strength doesn't come from power or control, but from something untouchable, their core values. Why core values matter. Think of a lighthouse. In the middle of a storm, no matter how violent the waves, it remains unmoved. Why? Because it isn't anchored to the water but to the rock beneath. Your core values work the same way. They are the unshakable foundation that keeps you steady in life's storms. If you know what you stand for, integrity, courage, compassion, you won't be easily swayed by opinions, rejection, or loss. People might take your job, but they can't take your work ethic. Someone might betray you, but they can't turn you into a betrayer. This is real strength. How to apply this in your life? One of the most powerful ways to apply this principle is to decide right now what is non-negotiable in your life. Some people value honesty above all else. They'd rather lose an opportunity than tell a lie. Others prioritize loyalty. They refuse to betray no matter the temptation. When you are clear on your values, decision-making becomes effortless. If someone asks you to go against your principles, you won't hesitate. The answer is already decided. Marcus Aurelius put it, "Just that you do the right thing, the rest doesn't matter." The unexpected benefit of living by your values. Here's the interesting part. When you live by your core values, you don't just become stronger, you earn the respect of others. Think of someone you truly admire. It's not because they're rich or famous. It's because they have an unshakable quality. Maybe it's integrity, courage, or resilience. They may have faced failure, but they never lost themselves. That's what makes them untouchable. Even the Bible says, "Whoever walks in integrity walks securely, but whoever takes crooked paths will be found out." Those who compromise their values for short-term gain may succeed for a while, but eventually, their lack of authenticity is exposed. On the other hand, those who hold firm to their principles build a foundation that cannot be broken. Life will test you. Will you stand firm? The world will test you again and again. A friend might suggest cutting corners for quick gains. An opportunity may arise, but only if you compromise your ethics. And that's the defining moment. Are you truly untouchable? Will you stand firm? Or let circumstances dictate who you are? This isn't just a philosophical question, it's a question for you right now. So ask yourself, what value matters most to you? If everything external vanished tomorrow, what would still remain within you? Find your answer, and when you do, live by it as if nothing else mattered. Number 8. The Antifragile Mindset. Imagine you're holding 3 different objects and throwing them to the ground. A glass. It shatters instantly. A metal cup. It may dent, but remains intact. A rubber ball. Not only does it survive, but it bounces back even higher. Now think of your mind the same way. If your mind is fragile like glass, every setback leaves cracks. If it's resilient like metal, you endure but carry scars. But if you develop an anti-fragile mindset, you don't just survive adversity, you use it to become even stronger. This is the next level of mental toughness. fragile versus resilient versus antifragile. Someone insults you. A fragile mind reacts with anger. A resilient mind endures and moves on. An anti-fragile mind treats the insult as training, a chance to sharpen self-control. You fail at work. The average person feels discouraged. A strong person keeps going. An anti-fragile person analyzes the failure, extracts lessons, adjusts their strategy, and returns stronger. Thomas Edison didn't fail 10,000 times when inventing the light bulb. He discovered 10,000 ways that didn't work. That is the mindset of someone who cannot be defeated. As Marcus Aurelius said, "What stands in the way becomes the way." When faced with a wall, you have three choices. Despair. Try to go around it. Use it to climb even higher. The anti-fragile thinker turns obstacles into stepping stones. How to cultivate an anti-fragile mindset change. How you see challenges. When rejected, don't see it as proof of failure. See it as an opportunity to improve. When you make a mistake, don't berate yourself. Ask, what is this teaching me? Seek out discomfort. Take on difficult tasks. Confront a fear. Attempt something you're not good at. Every time you push your limits, you train yourself to become unbreakable. Embrace suffering as growth. The Bible says, "We glory in our sufferings because suffering produces perseverance. Perseverance, character, and character, hope." Suffering isn't something to avoid. It's what shapes us. Once you understand this, you will no longer fear hardship. The final step, letting go of expectations. There's one last thing that can still unsettle you: expectation. As long as you expect things to go your way, you remain vulnerable to disappointment. But if you expect nothing, what could ever disturb your peace? This is the final piece of the puzzle. Let's explore it next. Number 9. No expectations, no disappointments. Have you ever felt frustrated when your food delivery arrives late? A friend doesn't respond to your message right away? Someone you trusted slowly drifts away? If so, you've fallen into one of the most dangerous mental traps: expectation. It's not people that make you unhappy. It's your expectations of them that do. How expectations control you. We expect delivery drivers to be on time, forgetting they deal with traffic, mistakes, and exhaustion. We expect instant replies, forgetting that people have their own lives and struggles. We expect friendships to remain the same, ignoring that people grow and change. Reality doesn't disappoint you. Your imagined version of it does. How to free yourself from expectations. See the world as it is, not as you want it to be. People will act how they choose. Life will unfold as it must. You can't control everything, but you can control how you react. Detach from outcomes. Don't expect everyone to like you. Don't expect traffic to always be smooth. Don't expect colleagues to always be kind. The less you expect, the freer you become. Focus on what you can control. A swimmer who expects the water to always be warm will be frustrated when it's cold. But a swimmer who focuses on technique, breath, and rhythm moves forward, no matter the conditions. Life works the same way. Expectations kill joy. Think about the happiest moments in life. Weren't they often unexpected? A message from someone when you needed it most. A song that brought back good memories. A small act of kindness you didn't see coming. These moments feel pure because they weren't tied to expectation. Now, think about your biggest disappointments. Weren't they caused by expectations? Planning a perfect day only for it to go wrong. Expecting someone to act a certain way only for them to do the opposite. Assuming things would always stay the same, only for life to change. Even the Bible warns, "Do not boast about tomorrow, for you do not know what a day may bring." The truth is, you don't know what tomorrow holds, so why tie yourself to fragile expectations? The challenge: live one day with no expectations. What if for one day you accepted things as they came, rather than how you wanted them to be? Stopped demanding people act a certain way? Let go of the need for everything to go right? You'd discover something incredible. No one could upset you anymore. Not because the world changed, but because you did. Number 10. Turn everything into a game. Have you ever watched a child play a game? Not for rewards, but for the sheer joy of playing? They lose 10 times in a row, yet they beam with excitement, eyes sparkling as they say, "Next time, I'll do better." Now, compare that to adults, maybe even you. Frustrated over a traffic jam, irritated by an unanswered message, upset over a minor mistake at work. Why? Because adults take everything too seriously. Life is just a bigger game. Traffic? A challenge to test your patience. Annoying coworker? An NPC designed to see how well you keep your cool. Failure at work? A game over screen, but you still have more lives left. When you see life this way, small setbacks lose their power over you. A simple perspective shift. I once ordered a black coffee, no sugar. The barista mistakenly gave me a sweet, milky one instead. For a moment, I was about to ask for a replacement. Then I thought, never mind, let's see if I can drink this without making a fuss. And guess what? It made no difference to my life. Meanwhile, a friend of mine once got overcharged by a few cents at a store. He let it ruin his whole day, complaining to anyone who would listen. Now, who do you think had a better day? How to play the game of life. When you feel exhausted while running, instead of thinking, "I need to stop," try, "Let's see how much farther I can go without complaining." When someone criticizes you, ask yourself, if this were a game, how would I win? Is winning about frustrating them with my silence? Or is it about using calm words to turn them into an ally? When your boss gives you a hard task, instead of groaning, think, if this were a hard level, how would I beat it? Try it today. The next time something annoys you, pause and ask yourself, if this were a game, what's the best way to play it? You might be surprised at how much less things get to you. And one day when someone tries to push your buttons, you'll just smile and think, nice try. Conclusion. Master your mind. Master your life. We've just explored 10 ways to become immune to life's distractions. Not by running away or fighting against the world, but by mastering our minds, shifting our perspectives, controlling our reactions. The truth. The power is yours. Difficult people? They can't disturb your peace unless you let them. Unfair situations? They only control you if you react emotionally. Unexpected setbacks? They're just opportunities in disguise. The world will always throw challenges your way, but true freedom doesn't come from controlling everything around you. It comes from mastering yourself. When you control your mind, you control your life. Stay calm. Become stronger than anyone. Stop reacting. Start responding with wisdom. See life as a game and play it on your terms, and one day when life throws another challenge at you, you'll simply smile and say, "Oh, I've played this level before." If this helped you, pass it on. Drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Hit like so YouTube knows this is valuable content. Share this with someone who needs it. You never know how much it might help. And if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that button. There's so much more great content coming your way. Thank you, and see you in the next video.